Football Saturday, man. Kenwood Sports, man. Back with another one. I got an update for y'all for this Atlanta Falcons and New Orleans Saints game. New Orleans at Atlanta in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But first, look, let me say I appreciate y'all for subbing. Appreciate y'all for watching me. Appreciate y'all for sharing me, all that. Like this video if you're watching this video. But, man, this is a game that's full of injuries, man. Demario Davis, he will be out for this game. I told y'all he like the quarterback for the Saints defense. He make all the calls. He make sure everybody in the right spot. This is his first career miss in any game ever in the NFL. He's been in the league since 2012. Started with the Jets, had a stint with the Browns, been over with the Saints for the last few years. But dude is a baller. He always all over the field. But I told y'all in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles that guys were getting hurt out there. I seen it. It was like a heavyweight bout, blow for blow. Dudes was out there giving it their all on both sides of the ball on both teams. Eric McCoy, the Saints center, he's on IR, so he's going to be gone for at least 4 weeks. Cesar Ruiz, the right guard for the Saints, he's gone. He's gone for this game. He's out. Not sure how long he's going to be out, but he has an injury. He's going to be out. Drew Dahlman, the center for the Falcons, he's going to be out. I think he on IR too. When somebody go on IR, that means they're gonna be gone for at least 4 weeks. Then you got Caleb McGarry, the right tackle for the Falcons. I think he's a right tackle or guard, but he's gone for the Falcons also. So it's a lot of injuries in this game, man. Look, I was thinking the Saints was gonna be in a disadvantage on that offensive line, where they already are with the good defensive line that the Falcons got, but with these injuries, we're already coming into this season. One of our best offensive linemen was already gone from out of Wisconsin, Ryan Ramczyk. He was one of the best offensive linemen the Saints had. He's dealing with something a serious injury, which may derail his whole entire career. So I'm not sure if he ever gonna come back. That's Ryan Ramczyk out of Wisconsin. He was a great offensive lineman. The guy, I remember we had injuries like 2 or 3 years ago, and the dude as a rookie played every position on the offensive line except for center. So it's going to hurt to see him gone if he's actually gone for the rest of his career, because he got picked high pick, one of the Saints' high picks. But back to this game, the defenses on both of these sides, both defensive lines going to be at an advantage because they all going to be there. Both of these teams got a stout defensive line. I've called them out before. I'll call them out again just in case y'all don't remember. Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata. And then they just brought over, who did I say? Matthew Judon. The Saints' young defensive line with Cam Jordan, the leadership of Cam Jordan, one of the active leading sack leaders in the NFL, Cam Jordan. You got Brian Bassie. You got, who did I say? What's my guy I keep calling out? Carl Granderson. My mind slipped my mind. Carl Granderson. Kalen Saunders, I'm not sure if he's going to be back because he's been injured. I didn't see him on the injury list, so I'm thinking he may be back this week. He came from the Kansas City Chiefs. But with Willie Gay Jr. there in the defensive position and Pete Warner, Willie Gay Jr. is a linebacker that came over from the Kansas City Chiefs. Then you got Pete Warner, who came from Ohio State. I like him. He get to the ball. He got a good nose for the ball. He catch interceptions and he get to the tackles. That's what I like about Pete Warner, young guy. I don't expect this to be a high scoring game at all. And I mentioned before, when you see a team scoring in the 40s for multiple games like the Saints did the first 2 weeks, expect a slowdown in scoring. And last week they showed that. I don't think it's because they couldn't. I don't even think it was because they was wore out and tired, because I think that pressure was getting to Derek Carr most of that game. A lot of passes he missed, those guys were open. I seen he had some short throws, but this game right here is going to be a lot of pressure on both of these quarterbacks, I believe, anyway. Kirk Cousins, I told y'all that, and I'm very consistent with this, I told y'all that Kirk Cousins, he cannot move like how he used to move. He wasn't the most mobile quarterback, but he's known for running outside of the pocket and getting his targets. This guy, just coming back from an injury, his Achilles heel injury, with this defensive line that the Saints got, I expect him to be under a lot of pressure. And the same thing for The same thing for Derek Carr. I expect him to be under a lot of pressure. So I don't expect a lot of scoring in this game. Kamara was on the injury list also. He has a nagging injury, a hip injury. That's one of the most important injuries that you can have as a running back, because you got to be able to move your lateral movements, your left and right movements. Guys are hitting you low. Guys are hitting you at your waist to bring you down. So that's going to be an important injury to look at. I don't know how long he's going to be dealing with this. I don't know if he's going to be able to go through the whole game or not. But when you're playing a game like a team like Philadelphia, it's a real physical football game. 15-12. Y'all remember the score. It was a very low scoring game, a good defensive game. It was a few plays that broke that game open with Saquon Barkley. And then the tight end had a hell of a game, 170 yards. 170 yards that tight end had. But let me say this. Somebody commented on my comments that game with Dallas versus the Saints. A guy commented, I don't know who it is. I may know you, I may not know you, but I couldn't respond. I didn't respond because it was a lot that I could have said to that. But this time I'm gonna respond. I just looked at the stats well, I looked at the stats the same day, but I just thought about it. Let me go ahead and say this in response to what you wrote. What he did right. Well, I'm gonna say what I wrote in the title. If y'all remember, y'all watch my videos, I said, please throw the ball to Olave, right? So if his comment said, man, let them do what's working. It's working good right now, or something along those lines. I'm not getting on you. I'm just responding to you. I appreciate your comment. But if you go and look at them stats, whoever this person was who commented, I can't remember your profile name, but I just remember your comment. But let me say this, man. Chris Olave, that's our number one receiver. That was the reason why I said throw the ball to Olave. Now, we got Rashid Shaheed. A lot of people starting to know about him. Derek Carr and him has a very good rapport. But the thing about him is he's not a pure receiver. He's not a pure receiver. He's never had over 800 yards in the season in college. He's never had an 800-yard receiver in the league, where he's been with the Saints for like 3 years. So the guy is not a pure receiver. If you want to build a top-notch rapport with somebody, you're going to have to do that with your number one receiver. That's why I say that. Because Chris Olave is somebody you can go to on third down. He's going to twist his body. He's going to jump in the air. He's going to dive for catches. He's going to do one-hand catches. He's going to do whatever he got to do to catch that ball. You got to make sure he's happy. You got to make sure he's getting a lot of targets. You got to make sure you hitting him when he open. So that was my reason for saying that. And you did mention something about fantasy. My analysis has nothing to do with fantasy football ever in nothing that I've said. I brought up the fact that Saquon Barkley broke that long run and it helped my fantasy team. But as far as my analysis of any of these games, I never considered fantasy. I was not talking about fantasy when I brought up Chris Olave catching the ball or Derek Carr throwing the ball to Chris Olave. He's just the number one receiver. But Rashid Shaheed had 5 targets in that game and he had 0 catches. 5 targets and 0 catches. So that's the reason why I said you gotta go to Chris Olave. Chris Olave had 6 targets and he had 6 catches in that game. So that was my reasoning for that, to answer your comment. If you're still watching, I hope you are, and I hope you still continue to comment. But I appreciate everybody for commenting. I appreciate everybody for liking the video. If you're watching this video, like this video. If you haven't subbed, go ahead and sub. And look, I'll get back with y'all in the next one, man.